Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm finally here with a Q&A slash like storytime video on the Marine Corps and the military. You guys left so many questions, so I'm here to answer them for you. There were so many, I felt like overwhelmed, and I was honestly just putting this video off for so long, but here I am. I figured I'd use this space to just answer your questions, hopefully help you out, and share my experience with you guys. So I do want to just say a little disclaimer that I can only speak on my experience in the Marine Corps. Everybody's experience is completely different. It doesn't matter if me and one other person went through boot camp together, went through all the same schools, like we're literally right beside each other throughout the whole 4 years. Our experiences are still going to be different. So I just wanted to say that I'm only speaking on mine. So I basically wanted to do this video kind of like two parts. I wanted to do a story time and then go in and answer some of the questions. I felt like the story time about why I joined the Marine Corps and why I got out will answer a lot of your personal questions you guys left, but then I'll go in and answer some of the more general Marine Corps questions. Also, if I'm breathing hard, it's because I feel so nervous for some reason, but I'm gonna try to breathe and get through this. Basically, I enlisted in the Marine Corps when I was 17 years old. I did need parental consent. You need parental consent if you're under the age of 18. You can still go to boot camp and everything when you're 17. I did turn 18 by the time I left to boot camp, but I got the process started when I was 17 years old. So I joined the Marine Corps because I did not know what I wanted to go to college for. I had a scholarship. I had a 4-year scholarship to university in my city, but I had no idea what I wanted to do in my life at the time, and at the time I felt like I was never gonna figure it out, and I didn't want to go to school as undecided because I felt like I was gonna waste my time. So since I didn't want to go to school, I also didn't just want to stay home and like work at the local pizza shop that I was working at. So I decided to enlist in the Marine Corps. And I don't regret it. It was probably the best decision I ever made. So I also was a part of a Marine Corps ROTC program in my high school for 4 years. And that helped me, become familiar with what the Marine Corps was all about and like just learn about the knowledge of the Marine Corps, physical fitness, and all that stuff. So I was a part of it for 4 years, but I had no intention in joining the Marine Corps until my senior year. I was a part of the drill team, and it was just something I did for fun, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, senior year came around, and I was just like, what do I do now? So I joined the Marine Corps. Once you enlist in the Marine Corps, you become a part of the DEP, and that is the Delayed Entry Program. And when you're in this program, you just meet weekly with your recruiters and other poolies, and poolies are just the other people who are also joining the Marine Corps with you. So you guys all meet up and you do like PTs, which is just like physical training. You maybe do like team building events or like go to like some type of event, or sometimes we'll do like cookouts and stuff and just like build that camaraderie between everybody. And throughout this program, they kind of keep you on track as far as physical fitness and making sure all your admin stuff's in check and your paperwork, and that you're just ready to go when it's time for you to ship out to boot camp. So I left to boot camp in December 2013. That was almost 5 years ago, which is crazy. But I left in December, and boot camp for the Marines is 3 months long. You don't get to bring your phone like other branches. You have to write letters and stuff like that, but you get one guaranteed phone call when you arrive. Oh, wait, let me hold on. So if you're a female, you only go to Parris Island, South Carolina, which is where I went. And then if you're a male, you have, not that you have the option, it depends on what part of the country that you live in. You can either go to San Diego, California, or you go to Parris Island as well. So I went to Parris Island, obviously, and like I was saying, you only get one guaranteed phone call, and that's once you arrive on island. You basically can call one relative to just like let them know that you made it there and you're alive and everything. But the thing is, you have to like read off of a script, and you don't have any time to like add in your own phrases or anything that you want to mention to them. Like you just have to read everything that's on the script in front of you while the drill instructors are yelling at you, and like you're just so nervous and you don't know what to say. Good luck if you get an I love you in there at the end of the conversation. But yeah, so that's your like one guaranteed phone call. Other than that, you better get good at writing some letters, because that's what you're gonna be doing. But I was fortunate enough to get one other phone call because I was in boot camp during Christmas time. So my senior drill instructor actually allowed us to call one relative for like 5 minutes on Christmas Day, which was nice of her because she did not have to do that. But yeah, so boot camp was 3 months long. It's completely separate. Male and females do not train together. We don't really do anything together. You don't really see them. If you do, you see them like occasionally, but you better not talk to them and you better not even look at them because you just cannot associate with them at all. And we would even have like church on Sundays in boot camp, and you still were just like not allowed to talk to them at all. So yeah, it's completely separate. In boot camp, you're like in a platoon. I guess it just depends, but my platoon was about like 50 or like 55 females, and we just all trained together. And all my drill instructors were females as well. Boot camp was actually really tough, but it was never something that I thought I couldn't get through. And I feel like just being in like the depth helped me prepare a lot for boot camp, and just being like physically fit. I was always very active in high school. I did lots of sports, so physically wise, I felt like I was good. And even if something was hard, like I knew I could do it. You just have to push yourself, and you also just have to be mentally strong, because the whole point is for them to break you down, to build you up into like a Marine. Nobody goes in there already a Marine, so they need to break you down and get rid of your habits, your bad habits, and instill discipline in you and all that stuff, so you become a Marine. So that's the whole point. But you can't let them break you down to the point where you're just like in shambles. You have to be like mentally strong to get through it. I'm not saying it was easy, but I just knew I could do it, and I had to do it because there was no way I was staying on that island more than 3 months. So after boot camp, you go to Marine Combat Training, which is MCT. If you did boot camp in Paris Island, you're gonna go to North Carolina for your combat training. So that's where I went, and Marine Combat Training is only a month long, but this was probably the toughest thing that I did in the Marine Corps, because it's the first time that you're integrated with males. So it was maybe like a platoon of 50 people who would like train together, but there would be like 5 or 6 females. So MCT was just so much tougher because it was just like male dominant. Like in boot camp, I really didn't have any troubles like keeping up with hikes or PTs and stuff like that. But then when I got to MCT, I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Like I can barely keep up. These guys are like 6 feet. I'm like 5'2", 5'3", trying to keep up with them on these like 50-mile hikes. I'm exaggerating, but yeah, it was just way tougher. And all I can say is thank God it was only a month long, because I don't know what would have happened. So after MCT, you go to school for your job. My school took about 9 months long, and depending on what job you have and if anything is like backed up, it can take longer or shorter. So it took about 9 months for me to finish school. After the schoolhouse, you just finally get to go out into the fleet and be a Marine finally, because you're done with all your basic trainings, you're done with your schooling and all that stuff. So I was fortunate enough to have the choice of where I wanted to go, and I chose to go to Okinawa, Japan. I always wanted to go to Japan, so I was so happy that I was afforded this opportunity. So I lived in Okinawa, Japan for 2 years. That's where I was stationed, and it was a cool experience. I loved Okinawa. I love the country of Japan, and I would move there like now if I could. I was there for 2 years, and then I was in Arizona for a year, and that's where at EAS, or I just got off of active duty. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and it was probably the best decision I ever made. It was a rough ride sometimes, but I don't regret it at all. I had so many good times, so many good memories. I learned so much, and it really just changed my perspective on life, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I get to have. I was living in Japan at 19 years old. That's pretty dope. So I just learned throughout my time in the Marine Corps that I definitely wanted to do something different with my life, and wasn't something I wanted to do for a career. Some people stay in for like 20, 30 years. That just could not have been me. I'm happy for like everything the Marine Corps has given me, has taught me, the opportunities that I had, but it was just time to like move on with my life. I got out of the Marine Corps, and then I started going to school full time. A few months passed, and then I joined the reserves, as you guys heard me mention in my Get Ready With Me video. I'm no longer in the reserves at the moment because I ended up moving to a different state, and I didn't transfer to a new unit. And the reserves is 1 weekend a month, and then 2 weeks during the summer for like your annual training. Because I was prior active duty, I wasn't like obligated to serve in the reserves. It was just more like a volunteer basis. So when I moved, I never transferred to a unit because I just had a lot going on, and I just didn't want to be a part of it anymore. So I'm completely out. I'm not active duty. I'm not in the reserves. A lot of people could ask me like, where am I stationed? But I'm not stationed anymore. I'm a free person and it feels good actually. But yeah, I'm not in the reserves anymore. I'm only a part of the IRR, which is the inactive ready reserve. So when you sign your initial contract, it's not just 4 years or 5 years. It's going to be like a total of 8, and so you have your 4 years of active duty and then your 4 years of IRR, It's so hard to say that. So when you're in the inactive ready reserve, you don't do the 1 week and a month thing or the 2 weeks in the summer thing. You're kind of just free to do your own thing. And then when that time expires, which mine expires in like 2021, then you're like completely free and you don't have any ties with the Marine Corps anymore. So I have a few years, but so that was basically my experience in the Marine Corps. I hope that answered some of the more personal questions you guys had. I'm gonna go in and answer some of the more general questions that you guys left on the community post. Thank you guys so much for leaving all those questions, by the way. And also I am filming on my phone, so I'm gonna be reading these questions on the laptop. So let's see what you guys left. So this question says, why did you decide to join the Marine Corps and not any other military branch, and did you ever regret your decision? So I decided on the Marine Corps just because I was in the ROTC program and I was just really familiar with how the Marine Corps was and like their knowledge and how their physical fitness training was, and the Marines they're just the best in general. There was one other branch that I went to go look at, which was the Navy, and I went to go talk to the recruiter, but I really just like, I don't know, I wasn't convinced. I don't really know why. And also at the time, the Navy was still making females cut their hair like really short, and I did not want to cut my hair. So yeah, I only looked into the Marine Corps and the Navy, and I went with the Navy. But fun fact, the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy. Somebody asked, what was your motivation during basic training? And my motivation was just to get the hell out of there. I remember there would be some females who were stuck on island just because of like injuries or something, and they were there for maybe like a year or just way longer than they were supposed to be there, and I just did not want that to happen to me. I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want anything to happen. Like I wanted to pass everything just so I could get off. Like that was my main motivation, that I just didn't want to stay there any longer. I wanted it to be over. This question says, how many females are in the Corps, and does it bother you that you have to work with a lot of guys? Keep up the good work. Thank you. But so I don't really know the exact percentage of females that are in the Corps, but it is a small percentage compared to the males. It's a small percentage of females in the entire military compared to the males. But it didn't really bother me that I had to work with males. It is obviously a male-dominated like work environment. Military is male-dominated, but I would just say you have to like assert yourself in a certain way and present yourself in a certain way that people know that they can't like fuck with you. Like, and I feel like I did that very well. I never had any issues, like any real issues with men in the military. And you just have to be able to kind of like set your boundaries and make sure that you're not giving people the wrong side of you, so that they know when they come to you, they come correct. That's just the truth. So would you recommend going straight from high school to the Marine Corps, and what is the process? If you're thinking about it and you don't really know what else you want to do, I would just say go for it. Go straight out of high school, join the Marine Corps. It helped me kind of just figure out what I wanted to do with my life. It gave me time to process it. You know, when you're like 18 years old, that's like, you're still really young and there's so many options, you just feel like overwhelmed. And why not just join the Marine Corps if that's what you want to do, and you know, have a good paying job and get to experience things and whatnot while you figure that out. I just say go for it, but you know, do your own research and go talk to your local recruiter. A lot of these questions are just like, go talk to your recruiter. Like, I know you want to know my experience, but there's only so much I can tell you, and things change. I went to boot camp 5 years ago, so last time I talked to a recruiter, things probably are totally different, but there's recruiters all over the country. Just make sure you go find somebody to talk to. Did you ever think about quitting the Marine Corps? I did think about quitting the Marine Corps. I'm pretty sure everybody thinks about quitting the Marine Corps because sometimes it freaking sucks. Sucks so bad. The military isn't like a happy place. Yeah. Sometimes it sucks and there's nothing you can do but just suck it up and yeah, just keep moving forward. So this question says, what's the best part about being in the Marine Corps? And to me, the best part was just meeting so many different people from so many walks of life. The biggest thing I got out of the Marine Corps was just like my eyes open to things I would have never seen, I would have never known, I would have never learned without being exposed to so many new things all at once. And yes, the military part of it, like the discipline and, you know, the perseverance and all those really good qualities and traits that you get from being in the Marine Corps and being in the military, those things I will always take with me, but just like on a broader scope, like my eyes just opened up, and I think that was the best part. You meet people from all over the country, people who have completely different experiences from you. You learn from people, and I think it's just really cool, and it's just like a huge melting pot. So I thought that was the best part. So this is a question I want to ask because I feel like it's kind of hard to get an answer to this type of question. It's not really TMI, but it's a female question, and she basically asked, what happens when you get on your period in the middle of training? So like I said, I can only talk about my experience, but when I was in boot camp, our squad leaders would hold these like ammo cans that were filled with menstrual products like tampons, pads, etc. And we would carry them around every single day, everywhere we went. So if you had to go to the restroom, you can just grab them before you went. They're easily accessible. Like, you need them and they're there for you always. So this person said, is it true that the Marines are tougher on women than the Navy, Army, etc.? And by the way, obviously this channel is like a female channel. I mean, I do like hair and stuff like that. So a lot of these questions are coming from females. So I feel like that's kind of the way this video is going. But so I feel like the Marine Corps is just tougher on everybody in general, whether you're a male or female. Like, the Marine Corps is tougher than the other branches, in my opinion. Like, obviously I've never been in the other branches, but I've seen, you know, just how they work, I guess you could say. But yeah, I feel like the Marine Corps in general just instills like more discipline into Marines, and you're just expected more. I feel like you're held to a higher standard, like appearance wise, like everything. I feel like the Marine Corps is just like tougher, and I feel like that's just what makes us better. So yeah, also, do you regret it or not? Like I said, I do not regret joining. Probably the best decision I could have made for my life. So this is going to be the last question, and this person says, if you weren't in the Marine Corps, what else would you be doing? So I'm not in the Marine Corps anymore, as I mentioned earlier. So right now I'm just working and I'm going to school. I'm going to be going back for the fall semester. I already started when I got out of the Marine Corps, so shout out to the Marine Corps for paying my tuition. But yeah, I'm just working and going to school, working on getting my bachelor's degree. This is going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I answered your questions. I know I didn't get to all of them, and I did answer a lot of them with my little story time in the beginning. But yeah, I hope you learned something or you just enjoyed watching. And thank you for watching. And if I had lipstick on my teeth, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye.